Median home sales prices are up, rental prices are up. What if you purchase a home and the market crashes right after? What does this mean for you? Find out today on Tuesday's Tips. All right, thanks for being on today, Suzanne. So let's talk about historic rents versus the historic median sales price of homes and how that can be how it can be more beneficial to purchase versus rent. I'll start with a little data, and then how about I throw that data over to you and we'll get this conversation going.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
All right, great. So if you look, the rental data that we have through our MLS doesn't go back very far. It only goes back to late 2015. But if you look, it's been pretty stagnant except for the past year or so. Rents have been on the rise. But the median rent price, and that's apartments and single family homes in Rhode Island, is over $2,500. It's actually about $2,600. So $2,600 a month is our average rental price. Now we know median means there are some higher, there are some lower. I get it. So there's people that are out there, I only pay $1,000 a month. That's awesome. Consider yourself lucky, and let's move on. Now you have the people here. This is the median sales price of homes from 1997 to current date, August 2021. As you can see, we started around $100,000 in 97. Right now in 2021, the official number that ended July, the median sales price in Rhode Island was like $364,000 in change. So as you can see, that's tripled since 1997. Now, if you look, there's a positive trend line here. You can see this big hump here. Many of us remember the housing bubble of the early 2000s, hit its peak in 2006, then continued to crash pretty hard. And when it crashed, it didn't even drop below this trend line you see here. It's, can you see the mouse when I'm moving it or no?
I can totally see it, yeah.
Okay, great. So I was going to say, if you can't, then you don't know what I'm talking about. But right here, even when it hit its bottom, it really kind of just touched the trend line and didn't really even drop below it. And then it's continued this trend line up. Now, you could argue that we're starting to, increase the trend line here or go a little bit parabolic. So at some point, we would expect a correction. We don't know when that is. Could be a month from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. But over time, this asset increases. Now, let's take the worst case scenario. You buy right now, let's use the median. You paid $364,000 and the market crashed tomorrow. What is the average payment for 100% financing for those that qualify for a $364,000 home, including taxes and insurance?
You're going to be somewhere, depending on how much the taxes and insurance are, Jeremy, somewhere in the $2,100 range. So
okay,
sure.
All right, so $2,100 range. That's a good number to use right there. So yeah. 21. Let's round up. Let's say 2,200. Right. Let's even push it worse. I love to shift worst case scenarios. In my opinion, you still make out better because if you go back to this rental line, we just talked about 2,600 being your median rental price. So there's at a minimum a $400 deficit there. So people argue, yeah, but if I rent, I don't have to maintain the home and stuff. Okay. But if you took that extra $400 a month and put it aside, that's almost $5,000 a year you're saving for maintenance in your home. And if you bought a house that's been relatively well maintained, that's more than enough to keep up with it. However, Suzanne, I know you and I have talked about this. Let's get into this a little bit because it gets us all excited and stuff. How many times do you get calls from people who are great tenants? They've been renting for 1 year, 5 year, 10 years, 20-year tenants, good tenants. And all of a sudden the landlord calls them. I'm moving back from Florida. I need you to vacate the unit or the house. My grandson is going to move in. And these tenants that have no control over their housing situation now don't have a place to live on no fault of their own. It's not their fault, but they're not in control. I like to be in control. I like to know I have a home. I don't know about you, Suzanne. What do you think about that?
Zero control. And you and I talked before you started the recording. This literally happened a few weeks ago. Clients referred to me. Awesome tenant, been there 8 years. Love the landlord. Landlord loved them. Said, no matter what, you can stay here forever. You guys are awesome. Well, there ought to have been a little teeny asterisk. Something happened with his daughter. Called him up. He said, guys, I'm sorry. I gotta ask you to go. My daughter's coming back.
Yep.
Like you have zero control over that. And you know, a lot of people are sitting on the sidelines and they're waiting for this correction, or they're waiting for this crash or whatever's going to happen. Yet something will happen. Like what comes up comes down. It always does. But when you have an asset that you own, like think about if you were one of the people that bought, I don't know, Jeremy, there you go. If you were one of the people that bought in 1997, and let's say that you didn't really refinance that much, at this point, your house is almost free and clear. I know you said triple. I like to say it's been almost quadruple, because we're pushing almost $400,000.
Yeah.
Look at what you have. So, you know, when you're renting, and yeah, rent's great. You need a place to live. You probably don't want to stay with your parents or with a family member forever. But you and I are both passionate about this. We know the value of real estate and what it can mean to families, and what it can mean to someone when you have something that you can sell, that you can borrow against if you need to. That it's just so much better to own a home. And I know there's so many people that are sitting on the sidelines. They're waiting. I don't know. I wish I could time the market to know, because you know, we'd love to be able to buy low and flip it and sell it and do all that stuff. But most of the people that watch your videos, they're not flippers. You're going to be there for at least 5, 10, 15, maybe even 20 years. You know, the signs are here that, you know, get out there, get with somebody like Jeremy. You definitely need a good agent that can help you and that can guide you to be able to structure your offer really good. I'm raising my hand as a lender that can say like, hey, we can close in 2 to 3 weeks, especially if we're getting what's known as an upfront commitment. So yeah, it's not the funnest market to negotiate in, but you just got to keep trying and keep putting in offers and stay the course, especially if you have decided that you want to be on the sideline. So I can't stress it enough. And I'm psyched that you were able to pull the data, because I think this will help a lot of people, Jeremy.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks for the suggestion. This was really great today. And I do have some encouragement for buyers. We're seeing inventory increase, which means there's less demand for each home that comes on the market. Is there still demand? Yes. Are we still getting multiple offers? Yes. But we may not be getting 20, 30, 40 offers on a home, which is almost impossible to compete with. You know, and in some cases, we're seeing 3, 5, 8, 10 offers on a very popular home. So yes, is there competition? Yes, but there's less competition now. So I think more buyers now are getting their offers accepted than in the last month or so than probably on average in the last 6 months, you know, combined. So, you know, there is good news for buyers, but the great news for sellers is we're still on a positive sales price trend. So the equity in their home is still increasing. So I don't think they've missed the mark. If they're thinking about selling, now is a great time to consider selling or selling. You know, call me for a free consultation. But it's working for both people better now, where it was so lopsided, as you know, Suzanne. We talked about, you know, getting calls from buyers, some actually in tears, some practically in tears. They're like, I can't handle this. I've had 10 offers rejected and I'm going 10, 30, 50,000 over asking price on each offer. But I think we're seeing more normalization, or at least just a little bit less demand. So there's good news for everybody right now, I think.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you for watching this episode of Tuesday's Tips. I'm Jeremy Bailey, your Flying Realtor. Remember to keep your wings level, and I gotta fly.